Before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to my friends for allowing me to use their Airbnb to shoot this podcast. Sayers at Eastwood. This one-bedroom apartment is located in a newly renovated fourplex in the heart of the East End. Now, according to the county records, this was built originally in 1935. The goal that they had for this Airbnb was to keep it as original as possible. The brick on the exterior is original with a few imperfections, and some trim on the inside is also original. This Airbnb provides comfort with all essentials needed during your stay. It is located minutes from major attractions in Houston like the Toyota Center, Minute Maid Park, George R. Brown Convention Center, and downtown. This is the perfect spot if you're visiting Houston for a business trip or a quick little getaway. Walking distance to local coffee and shops, and easy to get around with public transportation. Come shape your Houston experience in comfort by staying at Sayers at Eastwood Airbnb. Now, let's jump right into the podcast. Joshua is a inspirational human being. He is a real human being. He's had many challenges that he's been able to overcome. He is someone that I admire for his persistence. He's someone that I admire from a husband, from a father. This guy is someone that has put in the work to shape the future that he ultimately was not promised. I hope you guys can take something away from this. This is something that I really enjoy doing, and I hope you guys are able to learn something and apply some of the things that we talk about in this podcast to your lives to hopefully help you get through any doubt and give you the confidence you need to accomplish anything that your mind is set on, that you have your mind set on. Anyways, you guys check the podcast out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for sitting with me, man. I'm back with the podcast. I'm back with wanting to just get out there and meet other individuals that I find a little bit inspirational, a little badass. Somebody, people that I look up to, people that I feel like are doing something that I can learn from, and just people that I admire. And so today, I have Mr. Joshua Alford. How you doing, man?
Yeah, Ashford. I don't think the camera's on.
Oh, yeah, good call on that one, dude. We're gonna leave that in the video too. Good call on that one. Ashford, sorry.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
Oh yeah, we're good. It's good. It's doing its thing.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, how you doing, man?
Man, great, bro. Definitely happy to be here. Excited to finally meet you in person. I feel like I know you just off of the social, but it's definitely great to meet you in person.
And that's kind of what I wanted to do, which is kind of how all this thing happened here. This happened through social media for me. I believe it was a conversation with Josh Silva.
Yeah.
And so through that conversation, I was able to. I ended up somehow following what you were doing. And I was like, oh, this dude looks cool, and he's in real estate. This dude's got okay. And then you're working out. Family man, businessman, you got a little power couple thing happening over there.
A little bit, yeah.
And so I wanted to learn a little bit more about you because I like what you're doing, man.
Mm-hmm.
And something we were talking off camera, I think sometimes we glorify the I guess I'm stuck on this word right now, but like the sexy part of what real estate investing is, and building and doing all this other stuff, right? And so I think sometimes there's a disconnect with a lot of people that they feel that, you have to have some special quality, or you have to be some kind of superhero, or you got to come from a silver spoon type of background. Yeah. And so watching what you guys have been able to do, and then also knowing a little bit more about you, I was like, I gotta meet this guy. I gotta talk to this guy. And so thank you for taking the time to sit with me. Thank you for taking the time to pour into something that really is no benefit to you. This is all to me,
I mean, bro, like I told you off camera, I think this is going to be amazing what you're doing as far as the whole premise of why you want to show people the real side. Because I think, like you said, a lot of times with social media, authenticity kind of gets lost because we want to just show the highlights. So I really respect what you're doing. I'm glad to be a part of it, man. I'm super excited to see where it goes.
So in this season right now, in where you're at, currently today, what's life look like for you right now, just from a business perspective?
Yeah, man, growth.
Okay.
Growth right now, 2020.
Hey, cheers to that, dude.
Yeah,
Cheers
man, yeah, constant, right? Yeah, 2025, definitely, we set some big goals for 2024. We didn't hit all of them. However, we did build momentum up enough to where now like the growth this year, the scaling is definitely going to happen. So like for context, we have 4 projects that we're breaking ground on next month, which is super exciting, right? Because our target for the year was 8. I think we're going to hit that before end of Q2.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 8 projects. So then we're going to hit that before the end of Q2. So yeah, it's just, man, constant growth right now. Just, trying to internalize information and figure out how I can implement it in my business. Also talk to people like you, kind of pick your brain and see what you're doing and kind of see how I can use that for my business as well. So yeah, man.
So you're doing I'm more like regular residential 1 to 4 type of stuff for now, right? And you're in another completely different part of real estate, right? So you're more on the development side, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm in the development as well as building. So we acquire the land, plans, permits, and vertically integrated. We manage a project, and then my wife, like you said, power couple, right? She's on the sales side.
Shout out to the backbone.
Yeah, no, definitely the backbone, man, definitely.
And so, tell me a little bit about this process. And so, do you come from a real estate background?
No, man. So it's funny. People ask me that all the time, and no.
You wear it well, dude. You wear it well.
Yeah, thanks. I guess thanks, because I mean, yeah. I try to, but yeah, no, man. I don't come from a real estate background. The only person in my family that owns their house is my grandmother.
So what drove you to kind of dive into this real estate stuff? Because same thing for me. I there's not really anybody that kind of jumped into this industry. If it wasn't for my older brother, kind of where we were both on nights and working weekends and all that, kind of kicking ideas back to each other, we kind of went down the rabbit hole of it, right? How did you get into this industry?
Yeah, man. Honestly, by force, right? So, and we'll probably get into that now or later. So I did go to prison. I do have a felony. So when I came home, I just knew that the life I was living before I went to jail. As a kid, when I was 17, I went to prison. Did 7.5 years. So I came home, 24, no degree, no anything. Couldn't really get hired. So I went to barber school. Got my barber license, cut hair. Made some money doing that. Then I started a retail business, a store, and we were doing pretty good until COVID. And then when COVID hit, I didn't know how to market it online, so my business pretty much died. So I ended up selling all of my inventory at 50% loss, and had those funds, and I really didn't know what to do. I couldn't get hired, and I feel like everybody uses this book, but it's kind of the same thing, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everybody says that book, and that's one of the only books that I read, and I just remember real estate. And I never thought much more about it, but I was like, man, I need to do something to provide for my family. You know what I mean? I had my daughter on the way at the time when I lost my business, and I was like, man, like, what's the worst can happen, right? Like, I'm just gonna fail forward. I really believe in just failing forward. So, bought my first fix and flip through a mentor, who honestly, as soon as I signed the closing papers, he stopped returning my calls.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's supposed to mentor me through the whole flip. My first fix and flip took a year to do, because it was basically a tear down, and we had to redo everything. And I just, trial and error, figured that out, got through that, learned a lot of what not to do, and and just started doing more flips, and that led me on into development.
So there's a lot to unfold here.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And so just to keep it straight on the real estate side, once that mentor stopped kind of reaching out to you and all that, I imagine that feeling was similar to the feeling of kind of being at COVID with the business and just at a loss, right? I think some of the things that I struggle with is just finding the community, finding the people that were doing this to where, because we don't come from those backgrounds, this isn't something where we can just call mom and dad and be like, hey, aunt, uncle, whatever, like, hey, I got a problem. Like, you're completely having to pave this all the way. You get into real estate, through the life choices that just kind of unfolded for you. Mm-hmm. You're in real estate doing this. This, business now is also facing the impacts of another adversity, just like COVID was in the other one. I want to tap into two things. Did the COVID experience give you a little bit of like that, I can do this because I got through that? Or were you kind of going into this like a little hopeless type of feeling?
Yeah. That's a great question. So when I thought I had the mentor, I was like, okay, I'm going to crush this. And then whenever he stopped answering the phone, it definitely was a sense of hopelessness. But it was for a small moment, man, because I just knew at the end of the day, I'm like, Like you have to figure it out because your family needs you, right? Like you have no choice. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna figure it out. Like I don't have any other options, right? Like I have to figure this out. So kind of back was against the wall, and I've always believed in, like I don't look for handouts. So I was like, I'm gonna figure it out, and yeah, just trial and error, man. A lot of error.
I think that's what a lot of people don't really understand about same thing like you said to get you here. Same thing for me to get me to my business. I quit my job. I was
Wow,
making
okay.
almost 200 grand a year, and I hate to keep like the book thing that you mentioned about having to like keep jumping back into this, but there was a breakup for me that did it where I went through that. I went through a depression kind of phase with that, and then I was also in the midst of that just miserable at work, and so I just said, you know what, I gotta change something, and I pretty much just jumped. I quit, cashed out a 401. I had some money saved up, and I pretty much didn't have another option. And so I think sometimes people have a little difficulty because they have too much of a cushion where they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I had a conversation with somebody this morning. I was like, this business works as long as you make it work. When you don't put 100% into this business and you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you have a cushion, you have a backup plan. So you have to commit to the fact that this is going to be what I'm gonna do.
Yep. What do they call it? Burn the boats.
Burn the
boats
yeah,
sometimes.
the bridge. Burn the bridge.
Yeah.
Sink the boats, burn the bridge.
Something
Say
like
something
yeah.
like that. There's no going back to where we were at, man. Going into this deal, obviously, funds is a big scary thing. If you don't mind sharing a little bit, like where did the funds to take on these projects come from?
Far as development or for the initial?
The
fixing?
initial.
Like I said, yeah. So I pretty much sold all my inventory. I sold my business, which was a dying business. So I sold it at 50% loss, and I had some funds. Was able to have some funds there, and then
Jump into this.
yeah, jump into this. Now for my development, I don't use my own cash anymore. More so utilizing like private money lenders or hard money lenders as well.
So that's another thing too, because I feel like I'm learning a lot, but I feel like I'm waiting for me to have all the cash.
You
right?
don't need it.
And that's another thing too. People ask me all the time, like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about doing this, but I don't have no money, blah blah." And I keep hearing about these things, and I'm like, I personally don't know how that process works. I know it can be done, but I'm so focused on like survival right now with the residential 1 to 4 to pay my bills that I don't have a lot of leadway really to take on any more stress than what I'm doing. And so, do you need money really to get into this industry, or can you actually like work your way?
Man, that's a great question. Yeah, I would say if you want to jump straight into developing, you do need to have a little bit of a nest egg. Majority of the time, like my hard money lenders, they'll cover 90% of the total project cost, including land. You have to bring 10%. So let's say it's a $400,000 project total. You're gonna have to bring like 40K, 50K plus points, like 50,000 to the table. But I don't want that to discourage people because a lot of people who I met who are developers, they didn't have a kind of a nest egg like I did. You know what I mean? They started wholesaling, right? That's low barrier to entry, really no cost. It does take time though, but you're able to utilize your time in order to make some cash and stack up a nice nest egg. So
I like that because I think sometimes people feel like people don't realize that time is almost like a currency.
Absolutely.
Some people have an abundance of time. Some people actually have like liquid cash, and then other people have a combination of both. And so sometimes what people think, at least for me, right? I thought same thing. Like we do a little bit of land flipping with my brother. My brother's really the main one that does that, right?
awesome.
And
How
so
long have you been doing that?
probably on and off. It's almost again part-time, right? And so like it's not something that we're tackling in here within the loop or within the city. We're going outskirts. There's not a lot of competition and things like that.
Yeah, smart.
Yep. And so we're kind of almost like taking, the nickel and diamond our way up into something. And so, but the process works. But that's his little niche. That's what he loves.
Yeah.
And I think if you're willing to put a little bit of like sweat equity in here, there's a lot of people that can get into this industry or have gotten into this industry by doing that sweat equity.
I mean, what do they say, right? Time, money, knowledge. Like you need one of the three.
Yeah.
If you don't have money, if you don't have a knowledge, but you have a time, you can go work for somebody, right? Or you can leverage your time to go find your own deals, get them under contract, and find somebody with the time, with the money, or with the knowledge on how to how we can best utilize to make this deal profitable. So I would say, like, don't get discouraged to the people out there who don't have the funds, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not rich by a long shot, and I still kind of stress trying to figure out how I'm gonna put certain deals together. But you just need one of those three things: time, money, or knowledge. You know, I invest heavily in myself as far as the knowledge. I don't have much time to do a lot now, so I utilize my knowledge and my capital. You know, utilize other people's time.
So you said you had that was good information, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Like
no
I'm trying to flow, trying to flow through
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And so going now into last year, you said there were some goals that you weren't accomplishing. You didn't get to accomplish all of them, right? And I think sometimes for me, I beat myself up about not being able to accomplish those things. How are you taking the momentum that you were able to have last year and then using that to push forward and not let the fact that you didn't hit all those goals discourage you?
Yeah, great question. I would say, man, a lot of self-reflecting, right? Like, bro, to be here today, like even though I didn't hit my targets for last year, so my target last year was 5 builds. We only hit 3. You know what I mean? But when I first came home, you couldn't have paid me to believe that I would even be building 1 home, let alone 3. You know what I mean? So kind of reflecting like where I come from, you know what I mean? Like to get like when I first got into real estate and I told you the mentor kind of messed me over, when I told my family, they were like, well, we told you, like, you shouldn't have gotten into real estate. Like, we told you that was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely did not have any belief in me. And no fault of their own. It's just we didn't come from that. Like, nobody we knew had done anything in real estate. So it kind of was like, stay away from that, right? Because we don't know it. But, yeah, I would say, long story short, man, just reflecting and knowing that I am improving, right? Like, the year before, I built no homes. I built 3 this year. I didn't hit my goal, but I still did. I still grew, and that's my key word, like growth. Like I always want to just grow, even if it's 1%. I just want to grow every year. I want to improve. I want to reflect back at the end of the year and know, okay, you improved somewhere in life. You know, whether it's better husband, better father, better friend, right? Like you improved.
You mentioned something that I think is very important to cover, and I don't want to skim over it. You mentioned something about your own family also doubting you and kind of telling you like, it's not gonna work, this and that. Don't you feel like every step of the way there's some doubt from somebody for something?
Yeah, I mean,
how do you deal with that?
Man, I just know that. Great question. I would say for me, man, like I know whatever dream I have is God gave it to me. He gave me that vision for myself. So I shouldn't expect somebody to be able to see my vision when God didn't give them that vision. He gave it to me the same way you might tell me an idea and I might be hesitant and be like, hey, bro, I don't know. But it's not my vision. So I can't see the whole picture. You know what I mean? God didn't put that in me. So I had to learn, like, although I might respect people's opinion, I'm not going to let it affect me to stop me from making a decision I feel is best for me or whatever. When I talk to God and whatever God tells me I should do, I'm going to move forward. Whether I'm doubtful, because we all have self-doubt, right? Like, I can't do that. Whether I'm self-doubtful or not, I still, just push forward because if I feel like God wouldn't put something in you that he doesn't want you to have.
Yeah. So. I love that because I'm definitely tapping into it a little bit more. I told you as I was getting in here, I was a little stressed out. I was a little frustrated.
Yeah.
And some things happened and I caught myself kind of like telling you why I was stressed out, but then also I was like walking myself through it. And I was like, man, God provided and he took care of you.
Absolutely.
And now you let it go. God gave it to you. Like, why are you tripping on something that like he gave you? Like you didn't have it before.
Yeah.
Now he gave it to you and you're good. And so on the way over here, I was stressing about it and I don't like being rushed because I don't feel like I can authentically sit down and enjoy this. When you're in a fight or flight mentality or livelihood or lifestyle or whatever, it's really hard to try to see the hope and to see the vision or the light at the end of the tunnel because the biggest priority is to fight or flight.
Yeah,
and I had a conversation with a friend of mine today. He's like, he was stressing out and I was like, what areas of your house are dirty? Like you here, like finances, what do they look like? Are you eating right? Are you working out? Like mentally, what are you watching? What are you consuming? And so, I was like, don't answer those, but just think about it. And so that's a good one, man.
You gave him some great advice though. Like you have to do some, bro. If you're feeling, because we all go through it, we all feel depressed, right? If you're going through that, it's something inside of you that you have to figure out. Like, yeah, you can seek outside advice, but at the end of the day, and they can probably help dissect it, but you have to internally search and figure out what's going on with you. Maybe, you know, sometimes for me, right, like, bro, I have to take a detox from social media because you start comparing, right? You'll see people that it looks like they're just doing amazing, and you're like, man, like, why, and
when you
am
don't
I not here?
when you don't hit your goal of the 5 properties
Yeah.
and you only get 3, and you see somebody killing
Yeah.
3 a month, you're like, what am I doing wrong?
But I had to learn this, bro, and I'm pretty sure you too. You'll be watching somebody's story, and you might not know, bro. Like what they're showing is their chapter 20. You're still in chapter 1 of your own story. You're comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20. You can't do that.
I learned that in the car game, and so me being, you know, in my 30s and having the cars and doing all that and being that was an ego pride thing for me. I do enjoy it, but I let it consume me. And so that was me with the car thing. A lot of the guys that are doing the car scene, they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
They're in their 50s. These guys are OGs, they're veterans. They've got years on me. I'm coming in as a young dude in his 30s trying to move like they do, and I'm trying to keep up with certain things. Like, especially when I'm growing the business, man, you can't compare what they're doing. And so
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that too, like you said. So that's why I unfollow some stuff and I try to follow more inspirational, motivational stuff. And I try to use real estate just as a social media, just as a tool, because it is easy to get in this shoot, 3 hours pass.
Man, you're not lying.
I edited a video yesterday and like I had to fast forward through 10 minutes of me, you know, and it's just like, what are you, but it let me know, go back and reflect on myself, on what I've been through.
Now, self-awareness is key, bro. Self-awareness is key. And my wife, she laughs because, bro, if I see something on social media, I don't care what it is. If it disturbs my peace, I'm instantly blocking it. I'm not interested. I'm going to press not interested. I'm going to block it because I just don't want that. I don't want that around me. I don't care what it could be anything. I just, okay, I don't want to see that. I just don't want to see it.
This is like the perfect point to jump into that area of it, right? And so you've been able to get this far. You've been able to do this. You mentioned, you know, the not the struggle, but yeah, I guess in that season, the struggle of figuring out financially what you were going to do when you were getting ready to have your daughter. And then now you also have your son as well, right?
My boy,
and so you lit up, dude. That's cool.
That's my little guy.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to tap in a little bit. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like. And so I also want to learn what it takes to be a good husband, what it takes to be a good father. How do you... Because I can only imagine, I'm dealing with the stress of the business. I don't have any kids, man. It's just me. And so I can only imagine what you're going through. And you don't have a choice. You have to provide.
Absolutely.
What role does she play in this relationship? And then I'll ask you the next question.
Well, my wife,
Yes.
man, my wife, she's everything, bro. Like, I don't mean to gas her, but like
Gas her up, bro.
Yeah,
Gas
like,
her up. Like that's you.
I mean, like when they say like when you said backbone, I mean that definitely defines her. You know what I mean? Like the man you see in front of you today isn't the man I was before I met her. Like nowhere near, bro. And when you have somebody that believes in you more than you believe yourself, like when I'm talking self-doubt, because we all do, and you have somebody who's like, she might not even know anything about, at the time, she didn't know anything about real estate, but she had that faith in me, like, no, like, you can do it. Like, why are you doubting yourself? Like, when you have somebody that believes in you more than anybody in the world, I feel like you're supposed to hold them closely. And, bro, my wife, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at without her belief in me and just faith in decisions I'm making. Like, you got it. Like, I support my husband. I feel like in relationship, at least, it's not going to work if anything you're trying to do is not going to work if you have a spouse who's not supportive. They might not have to, like, my wife's not into MMA at all. You know what I mean? But she'll go to a fight with me. She's done fell asleep at fights, MMA fights. Like a championship fight, she's over there asleep. But she's just supporting in all areas of life. And I feel like, especially in business, bro, you need that. You need somebody, because the world's telling you why you're going to fail. You don't need to go home to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you
can
don't.
cuss if you want
okay,
to,
yeah,
so
I try to catch myself.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't need that shit, bro. Like, the world's gonna, you have the world telling you what you can't do. I don't want to go home to somebody who's telling me what I can't do. I want somebody to tell me, like, hey, like, you can do this. It's gonna be hard, but you can do it. So, yeah.
When and this is completely like pre-relationship, but like or entry in it. What from your point of view as a man, did you know that this was the woman for me? Like you're talking about her now. You're hyping her up. You're putting her on her pedestal. You're giving her, her flowers. How people are saying now. But I struggle with that a little bit, right? Like opening up and like really jumping in full circle, or like head first type of stuff.
Yeah.
So what was it for you? And this is just almost like guy talk.
Yeah.
When did you know that this was this person that she was like that you were like, this is who I'm gonna try. This is who I'm gonna jump with.
Man, I'm gonna be honest, and it's gonna sound cheesy, but it's a fact. So me and my wife,
Stop apologizing for what works for you.
Yes.
Bro, that works for you.
So me and my wife, we did go to high school, but she was a grade above me. So I didn't know her. She seen me around school. My brother was dating one of her friends, and they kind of connected us. And the first time I met her, bro, it was just different. I really can't explain it, man. Like, I feel like one thing God has blessed me with is the ability to read vibes. Like, my gut, I don't buck my gut for anything. And I just knew, bro, she was just different. She was just different from anything that I was used to, bro. Like, and it's crazy, when we first met, she made it clear that she didn't want kids. And I knew, like, I never had a family. So that's all I ever wanted. And I was like, all right, like, we're gonna have a family. She was like, I don't want kids. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
and,
we'll see.
And then like a year into it, and then she's like, I'm ready. Like, I want to be a mom now.
He trapped you.
Nah, he definitely trapped her.
He trapped you.
Yeah, I'm not letting her go. She's locked in. Bro, I just knew she was the one because I would say her heart, bro. Like, our first time meeting, we were just speaking about some things, and I just seen how pure her heart was. So my wife laughs because I call her green sometimes. She's not anymore, but when we first met, like, bro, she was very, 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 very naive. Like, she puts her expectations of how she is on everybody else. So she expects everybody to have a great heart and be caring, considerate, and
that's a great quality from a mother. Horrible quality from the world, because the world will like take you. Like,
exactly. And see, I was like polar opposite. I didn't trust anybody, anything. Like, in my mind, everybody has a hidden agenda because the environment that I came from, that was the case. So meeting her was like a polar opposite. And I'm like, man, like this, like, I just wanted to protect her, bro, if that makes sense. I was just like, man, like, I can't.
She's so innocent and pure. You don't want the world. You don't want your world to be exposed to her, where she understands like that pain and what really happens out here.
And I just wanted to protect her, bro. And I don't know, bro. Just
something came over you where you took it upon yourself to like, this, I'm gonna nourish this.
And the way I was living when I met her, she was not with that. She was not with it at all. And I never had anybody who was like, bro, like, the shit you doing is not cool. Yeah. Like, this is not cool.
She checked you.
Yeah, and I was like, hold on, I don't even know you like that. Yeah. But she was like, nah, that's not cool. So it was definitely like pulling my coattail. You know what I mean? So I'll give you an example, man. So I've only been home at the time for like a month, and one of my friends got into a fight at a club, and he got stabbed. And he called me, and instantly I hopped up. I'm like, I'm finna go over here. They got my boy messed up. Like,
street shit.
Not even thinking, just because I'm so diehard for the people I rock with. You know what I mean? And she was like, we're on a date night, and you're finna go. Like, no, you sit your ass down. Like, you not finna. Like, you just came home. Like, what are you thinking? And I sit down, and I'm like, bro, like, she just went in on me, and I was like, damn, like, she's right. You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? Like, what am I? And that kind of started the mindset shift. Like, okay, like, I have to cut some people off, man. Like, I have to, because I'm gonna get myself back in the wreck, if that makes sense.
Healthy boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how important is that? You know, you mentioned, not double dipping, but sort of slowly one foot in, one foot out. We talked about it in business where, yes, it does work, but giving yourself that cushion, you still a little ease, like where you can still fall into, I got tough, I'll just lean back on this career, right? Same thing with you, one foot in, one foot out in the industry, or that, I guess in the streets, right? Like, yeah, that's what I know, that's familiar. How thankful are you that she was able to do like what she did to just give you a little bit of hope and plant a little bit of like, here's a little flashlight in a world of darkness,
Man, I'm super, bro. I'm super grateful, and I'm super blessed. So, like I told you, I went to barber school, right? So when I made the decision to go to barber school, I didn't have any transportation, and me and her weren't even officially together then at that time, and she would let me use her car to go to barber school, bro. Like, she would let me drive her car to go to barber school. I didn't even have money for gas.
She invested in you,
Yeah,
bro.
no, she did. Like, to be honest, like I tell her all the time, like, bro, like you shouldn't have been with me. You know what I mean? Like I had nothing at the time to really offer you. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any. I had no source of income at the time, and she was like, it's okay, like use my car, like, cause I know once you get your license, you know, like you'll be okay. And I was like, I got you. I'll pay you back. I promise. Like. And it worked out, man. Like she had that faith in me, and it helped me believe in myself, right? Like every time I try to have an outlet, oh, I don't got a ride to go to school today, to go to barber school. She's like, no, take my car. I'm like, damn, like okay, I gotta
I got
go.
a good one.
You
Yeah,
know?
I got a good one.
Like damn, I gotta go. You know what I mean? So
It's funny because one of my buddies, Jay, and his wife Nasima, he's sometimes like, relationships are hard. Dealing with other people are hard. I mean, but it's not impossible. And same thing like you said, where like, you know, I'm not gonna say too much of what he comes to talk to me about, but it's almost like locker room talk, where he comes over sometimes, and you know, he may be at the max, you know, in that relationship right now with what he can give, and so he just needs to leave the house, right? And so we'll be at the house chilling or whatever, and he'll say some stuff like that they're dealing with, and then he jokes it off, and then he'll say like, you know, like, man, screw her, man. And he's like, and he pauses, he's like, man, I got a good one, bro. I really got a, like, he catches it, he checks himself.
No,
you know?
I tell my wife all the time not to cut you off, but no, bro. Like my opinion now, because we've been together almost 10 years. You know what I mean? The dating pool is trash. From what I see, my homies going through, it is like
all the good people are outside like of it, just like waiting for their perfect person to come knock at their door. That's it. A lot of us are just really, we don't want to get involved in that you see.
Yeah.
I'm busy growing this business. I don't have the time and energy. Like you said, I already have the stress of this business. Why do I want to come home to the stress? And so I think a lot of people just need to do the inner work. A lot of people really need to sit in peace and silence and figure out what they want for themselves. Set those healthy boundaries that you were talking about.
That's key.
Man, and so it is a little challenging, and that's why I was curious just to kind of get in your perspective, because you're in a position where ultimately I would want to get into where it comes from a relationship standpoint. So selfishly, I wanted to know, like, how did he work through those things and all that?
I mean, we're not perfect by a long shot, bro. Like you said, like every relationship, I feel like it's honestly, I feel like it's unhealthy if you guys don't have disagreements. Now, I don't mean fights, but you know, you're not gonna agree on everything, bro. Like you don't want somebody who's just a yes man or a yes woman, right? Like you don't want that. I mean, I feel like everybody has their ups and downs, but I feel like it's in those moments where you can kind of see, like, off a disagreement, is this my person? You know what I mean? Like, how do we resolve this? Do we communicate with each other, or is it just we both ignore each other and we never really get to solve the problem, and it's just we just bottle it up, and then eventually it's gonna overspill. So I feel like that's key, like making sure you guys communicate. Me and my wife, even now, bro, like it is a struggle, especially with kids, you know, making sure we're checking on each other, making sure like we are still there, because like you said, I'm trying to grow my business. My wife's trying to grow her business. I'm trying to make sure these kids grow up healthy and keep them alive, honestly.
Yeah,
like, like, man.
Yeah, it's like the checklist for the day is like, is the baby alive? Yes.
Yeah.
Is the baby awake? Duh, we're good. Yeah.
No, exactly, man, because those little things, they just have free reign to terrorize everything.
Yeah. From a business perspective, how does that relationship work from, you know, mentioned power couple, you know, joking about it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like in that dynamic of it, like how does business look like with y'all's team from just a business perspective?
Man, I kind of don't really understand the question.
Like what role in the development, and then also what she's got going on, how are y'all collectively both like teaming up together to just make this work?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So man, my wife, so she's more focused on like acquiring the land, like finding the actual land for us, and kind of figure out what we can do from a profit standpoint. I'm more so on like once we acquire the land, like getting the plans and stuff, creating the actual project, and managing the project. And then my wife is the exit. She focuses on acquisition and then the disposition of the land. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna keep it? Are we gonna build to rent, build to sell? And then she starts, you know, creating her own game plan for the exit strategy.
Y'all keep a lot of money in house doing it like that, huh?
Yeah, so it's crazy.
you were like,
yeah, my wife didn't want to be an agent.
Yeah.
She didn't, because she didn't know anything about real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my wife, we come from similar backgrounds that are also different, but similar as far as both of us grew up poor. You know what I mean? Like we watched our mom or dad, whoever, we watched them struggle, So I think we had that in common. So we don't want that for our kids. You know what I mean? Like her family, mom, dad, they own nothing. Similar situation. They own nothing. You know what I mean? And we just know where we came from, bro, and we just don't want to go back to that, and we don't want our kids to ever experience that. So it definitely keeps us like focused on the business side of things, and it is a battle, bro, because we want to also make sure our marriage is still, you know, because bro, when I zone in on one thing, like it's bad. When I focus on one thing, bro, sometimes I just don't worry about a lot of like even my family. Sometimes like I'll lock myself in my office, and she'll have to be like, hey, like what are you doing, like.
Yeah.
No, you got to come.
Yeah.
Like, no, we need you. I'm like, okay.
But that's what the team needs, and so that's like same thing for me, man. Like I'll be honest with you, with dealing with business and everything like that. Obviously, with the podcast and everything, I'm more of like the talker, people person. Get me in the field, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like paperwork. You put me in an office to edit, you put me in an office to do the paperwork, man, I'm bored. I am looking to get out of here, and so sometimes I just go work somewhere else. And so, but being self-aware as to some of those qualities, and then also her, like I think a lot of times is just giving each person a voice in the team to say, hey, you need to sit down. You one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, let me go get the license. You know, go get the license so you can do this. And I don't know, this might be a question for her, and if you don't know, that's fine. What was the reason why she didn't want to get into real estate, get the license?
Bro, you know, just a lot of times we're scared of the unknown. That was all it was. She didn't know anything about real estate. I was in the process of learning, so I really couldn't teach her anything. And she was like, what am I getting my license for? All I could tell her was we could save on commission. Like, I could save on commission.
Yeah.
That'll keep more money in the house. And so once she understood that, like, okay, we can keep more money in the house. All right, I would get my license. But it wasn't a passion of hers. Now she loves real estate, probably more than me now. You know what I mean? Like, that's all she wants to talk about. So it's funny how it flipped.
Yeah.
I was trying to like force it on her. Now she's like all about it.
The reason I ask is because I have a lot of people that dude, I don't know what it is, but like, and so I think it's just, I know what it is. It's the work that's happening, and I honestly feel that like the closer I get to God and the more I talk to God about what I'm dealing with, the more He's giving me. And like, I think last year was a year where I went through a very quiet end of the year where it was a little bit boring. It was a little bit, you know, it wasn't fun. It wasn't exciting. It was like a very peaceful, slow year. But I think He was trying to teach me something in that. I am very like, screw it, let's go. Like, fuck it, like YOLO, you know? And so like, let's have fun. But I realized that like, I have the potential to make the money in this business. I've been able to do it. Now I need to be aware and set healthy boundaries for myself because I can't be too loose when it comes to business. And so I think He's letting me know that the more and more I talk to Him, like I was telling you earlier, the more and more I put faith in Him going forward. And let me know where we're at with time.
No, it's notification.
Okay.
You're good.
Just let me know where we're at for time. If we got to cut it short, we could double back and come back later at something that, you know, later day. But I think He has used this season to calm me down and remind me that that what I ultimately really need is my family, a place to sleep, and then just the means of survival. And so anything else is extra. I got the business, I have the family, and by family I mean friends and family, right? Like those loved ones. And then I have a place to sleep at night, dude. And so outside of that, everything is extra. And so I am now trying to focus on, I saw something in that School of Hard Knocks podcast that do the interviews, and it was a dude from Houston, Texas, I believe. And he said, stay small for as long as possible. And that's literally my approach to what I'm trying to do right now, is not get overly excited when I get a financial victory, not get overly excited when a new opportunity presents itself, because out of emotions, like what I was doing right there, I don't ever do that with you. When I was walking and talking to you about what I'm dealing with and catching I'm trying to be more aware.
Yeah.
Because like you have done with knowing how to set those boundaries, but not going into back to the areas where you know you're not getting nothing good from there. That's the same it's not the same battle, but it's a different battle that I have to be mindful of, that's internal. Dude, and the more and more I press, the more and more I do this, the more and more I put myself out there and be vulnerable, more and more people are starting to gravitate to me.
Because it's real, bro, and we all go through it, but not everybody talks about it, right? It's kind of like just pushed to the side, like it's not
sexy to go through this. It's not sexy to so people, we just show the victories. And that's what I hate, because when I was looking for that, We talked about it. It's glorified. And that's not the reality of it. The reality of it is it's hard out here, and we're all going through things.
Yeah, and I think that is, man, what you just said, you ain't lying, bro. It is hard. Like, while we might make it look easier, it's not. It's hard, but life is hard. And like they say, you choose your hard, right? It's hard to get up and go to the gym, and it's hard to eat healthy. But it's also hard to be obese and have all type of diseases and all type of illnesses because of the way you eat and you don't diet. So you choose your hard. It's going to be hard either way. It's hard for you. I remember you told me that about your car. I know that was hard for you, but you made an investment in yourself. You're thinking long term. Now, what would have been hard if you would have kept that car, put yourself in a messed up situation, and down the road, now you have that regret. So either way, it's going to be hard. And it's a great book by this guy named Ryan Holiday, man. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. And I think I post a quote from that book like every day because I have so many that I got from that book. And it just showed me like, bro, life is hard. It's never going to be perfect. I don't care how much money you get. Like if you think it's going to be a certain amount of money you get to where life isn't hard, no, it's always going to be a problem. And if you're aware of that and you understand that, okay, it's just an obstacle. It's not. It can't prevent me from accelerating. I just have to figure out how to get over it. You know what I mean? Like I really feel like that is key for me at least, right? Is recognizing that, bro, life is fucking hard. We all have different stuff going on, but it's hard, but it does not mean that it's impossible to become what you want and to achieve whatever dream you have. I think that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this. I was grateful for this opportunity because I'm like, bro, I want to share, like I told you on the phone, I want people who come from where I come from, look like me, been through what I've been through, know that it's not easy, but it's not impossible, bro. Like it's not. And when I go back to where I'm from and I try to explain that to them guys, they don't understand it. And I beat myself up trying to like explain it like, bro, you can do this. Okay, you didn't graduate high school. Who gives a fuck? You don't need a degree to get a real estate license.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
You can do it, yeah. It's just we're just not aware. We come from, and this is where what I'm trying to do with this. This is where I want people to understand that you can be a regular person with regular difficulties, come from the average like neighborhood, the average broken family, the average challenges. Those are all things that the masses are going through, and with that, you can still start your own business. Start your own development, business.
Absolutely.
Power couple it with your wife. Like jump into that, man. And so something else I kind of want to tap into because you have kids.
Yeah.
But in that also are challenges with those kids, right? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, man. So with my son, man, I get kind of touchy about this, but
and at any point, if there's something you don't want to
Nah,
share
you're
or
good.
you don't want to talk about, I'm ignorant to this stuff, and I don't know the right terminology or certain words or how to say.
Don't
certain
trip
things.
out. I'm gonna lace you up.
Yeah, let me know how all this works.
Yeah, so my son, he's autistic.
Okay.
He's level 3, like the most severe case, and he's nonverbal. And as a father, bro, that was really tough for me because. I feel like every dad wants to have a son because you want to throw the football, play basketball, whatever, play sports. And when I had my son and we realized that he wasn't talking and stuff and that he was autistic, it definitely crushed me. I was kind of defeated at first because I'm like, okay, well, damn, like my plan of me going to football games with him is most likely not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And also I had to learn patience, bro. Like I'm still learning, like, my son can't talk, bro, so he cries sometimes to get what he wants. And I was grown up. The way I grew up was this was the motto: you crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about, and they'll whoop your ass. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, but whenever my doctor told my mom that, her response was he just needs his ass whooped. You know what I mean? Like that was the cure for me. So with my son. Bro, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for me and his mom, because when we go places, people think he's just bad or he's acting out. They don't understand that he's autistic, but it's not their business for me to be like, oh, excuse my son, I don't give a fuck. But we see the looks, we see the stares, and I would say, man, to anybody with a child with a disability, the worst thing you can do is give up on them. You know what I mean? Like my son now, we have insurance, we're able to get him in certain therapy. So now he's starting to progress. He's starting to talk now. You know what I mean? He's starting to be able to sit down and kind of communicate with us. And it's all because we refuse to give up. I see so many people when I go to these places, or I see people out with their kids and we're conversating. A lot of the conversation, they kind of like talk about their child as if they like, they're giving up on them, bro. And I've had my family give up on me when I was a kid, and I don't know, bro. I probably didn't answer your question.
No. That's.
But
this is exactly what I wanted to dive into, because there's another friend of mine named David, and he's also in the car community, and he's very involved with this boy because his boy also has autism, severe palsy,
cerebral palsy. Yeah, I've seen you post them. I've seen you post them.
Epilepsy as well. And they told him too that his son was not going to make it, and I think he's either 10 or 11.
Yeah, I see you post them.
So to me, this is something that is a lot more common. This is something that infertility. Women are also dealing with this stuff. These are real things that happens to real people, and I want to be able to like use this platform and bring attention, because I don't ever want. I know what it feels like to be like to not be given a space.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to not be given a voice. I know what it feels like to be the little guy that doesn't get picked because he's small. And so for me, I don't ever want anybody to feel like that. And so I want to be able to learn. I'm seriously intrigued by the more, like, I want to learn, because I don't know, that may be in my cards.
Yeah.
That may be, and so I don't ever want to be like, and I grew up with a loving, awesome family, but you're right. Our parents' generation handled things a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so we are now learning, we're being adults. You're being a father for the first time. You probably don't have mom and dad to go back and have like, hey, how do I deal with this? This isn't like, the traditional, this is a new challenge. This is a new deck of cards. This is something completely different that you're having to work through. That's what I want people to know. I want people to know that the background that you came from is not the cookie cutter one. The family, the business, every challenge, all that, it's okay to be where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a matter of what you do. You can go to these things and you can choose to be depressed, to be sad, or do whatever. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put up a fight. And dude, that energy, that like you just taking on that role between you, your wife, and everybody, and choosing to show up every day and fight. They told my boy his son wasn't going to live, and he's 10 or 11. Like, come on, man. So like miracles and things like this happen. The more you nourish and work on things, and you put energy, effort, love, attention, like, dude, it's eventually gonna take off.
And I feel like, no, I agree, bro. And I feel like, like in the Bible, faith without work is dead. And I feel like, when they told me my son was autistic and he would never speak, we could have just chose to give up and not have him in therapy, because at the time the insurance we had, we couldn't even get the therapy we needed to get him, and we could have just gave up, bro. And I feel like if I would have done that, where's my faith at, right? Like, where's my faith? I don't have none at that point, but that ain't me, bro. Like, I've always believed it. I don't lay down for nobody or nothing. Like, I don't feel like nothing in this world can defeat me, bro. Like, with God on my side, like, I'm unstoppable, bro. Like, I got these prayer hands tattooed on me, not for decoration, because I believe in the power of prayer. I've been through so much, you know what I'm saying? And prayer has always, and I didn't grow up in a how would you say it? Like, we didn't go to church, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't grow up in that environment. And for whatever reason, I've always believed in God. I've always had a relationship with God. And I didn't really go to church as a kid at all, but I always prayed, bro. Like, I always, I remember when I was a kid, at one point we were living out of my mom's car, and man, it was Christmas, and at the time I was like 8 or 9, but I already knew, like, I didn't believe in Santa at this time, but my brothers did, and I just prayed, bro. I was just praying, like, man, like, God, please bless us to have a Christmas. And bro, the school, like, the school donated. I was with A.B. Freeman. You know that? Freeman, off of Edgebrook, Freeman Elementary. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay,
right. I went to school with Josh Silver.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but bro, the school, like, they donated a bunch of gifts to us, and
I know it as Freeman.
Yeah.
I don't know it as AB.
Yeah, Freeman. Yeah, and they donated a bunch of gifts to us, and I guess, like, I bring it up because that's one moment where I was like, okay,
oh, this is real.
Like prayer works. You know what I mean? Like prayer works. And as I got older, I kind of lost that connection with God and my faith. And then like anybody, once I got in trouble, then I tried to make that reconnection, and I was able to, and he blessed me, bro. Like, for me to be here,
doing what you're doing,
yeah.
looking back like with the team, the family, the business, and everything,
Yeah.
dude. That's I'm telling you that for me right there has been a cheat code for me too. And I know it's not. I know a lot of people have doubt. I know a lot of people think that you have to be perfect to be in a relationship with God. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm simply praying and I'm trying, because what you're talking about, dude, he's answered for me a lot of times, and in ways where I was like, oh, that's a coincidence. Nah, man, those aren't coincidences anymore. Like, I had a spiritual awakening, and it hit me, and like now I'm entertaining it, man, because I know what I've done by myself, trying to do it just me.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Nah,
I'm scared of myself, because if you give me so much peace and quiet and a little bit of money, like, man, I'll go do some reckless shit, and I'm scared of myself, and I fear not being able to tap into my true potential. I see the little community that I have with people. I see the little momentum that I'm building. I see the people that reach out to me, and I'm just like, man, hold up, dude, you got something here.
Now you're making an impact.
And I'm trying to just tap in a little bit more into who that is that I am, and just put myself out there so that I can give people the ability to be confident in their own unique situation, in their own unique, like, person. You are perfect just the way you are.
Absolutely.
And we have so much information out here. You have you that is proof, me that is proof, and others like us that are proof that no matter what you dealt with in life, if you choose to get up and fight every day, dude, you can power through anything.
Yeah, and I feel like another great thing about this podcast is, bro, it's hard to be what you never see. You know what I mean? So people that come from where we come from, and they don't get the opportunity to see people like them, like us, get to where we're at. They don't believe it's possible for them, but by you having this platform, like, they're gonna be able to see that, right, and know, like, okay, well, damn, like, their situation was way worse than
his look like mine.
yeah,
Looks like,
you know what I mean? Like, and they can see, like, it's possible for them, because it is, man. I don't feel like it's impossible for anybody who's willing to have that faith and put in the work. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of times we all think, well, we just pray, like we're gonna get what we're asking for, but you have to start putting in the work yourself as well, because you might be on the verge of getting a blessing, and you might have to do one thing before you get it, but you're like, well, I'm gonna wait till I receive my blessing before I start doing this. But it's like, bro, if you make that change and just have that faith and put that work in, then you'll get that blessing over time.
It's all action, man. It's all action.
That's perfect, isn't it? Yeah, all action.
I know we're pressed for time, so I won't hold you up too much. We'll wrap it up real quick, but is there any little one or two pieces of advice that you have either learned, someone gave you, or you just experienced that is something that you live by, that you would love to be able to share with somebody, or just the audience?
Yeah, two things. The first would be, man, Matthew chapter 13, I think verse 20. Walk with the wise, and you will be wise. I believe in surrounding myself around individuals like you, who think like me. I pride myself in putting myself in the right environments around the right people. If you're around people who have no goals, I would say get away from them immediately. That has been the biggest thing for me, bro. Like, when I meet somebody, how I'm gonna know if we're gonna connect or not. Hey, man, what goals? We talked about it. What goals you have for this year? If they're like, oh, I don't have any goals.
Yeah, you quizzed me. I was like, I've never been quizzed before.
Yeah, they're like, I don't have any goals. Run, because if you don't have any goals, you see no growth for yourself. I don't want to be around anybody like that. I come from that. You know what I mean? And the second, I would say, for me, it's a method that I invented, and I feel like it's got me where I'm at. It's called the BUILD method, and it's believe, understand, invest, learn, and dedicate. It's 5 key things. If you apply these in any area of life, bro, I can almost guarantee you're gonna get to where you want to be.
Believe,
and I'll go through them. Yeah, believe, understand, invest, learn, and dedicate. So believe is first, because without belief you have nothing, right? Like, the simplest thing, if you didn't believe that you could be a great realtor, which you are, if you didn't have that belief in yourself that you could do it, you wouldn't even attempt it to do it. The next is understand. Understand what it is you want to do. Have a goal. You have to have a goal. You don't have to know how you're going to accomplish that goal yet off the bat, but you need to have a target. The next is invest. Like I told you, I invest in myself, whether it be me reading, mentorships, investing my time on YouTube. Like, invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. It doesn't have to always be financially, like monetarily. Like, go to the gym. Like, invest in yourself. The next is learn. By you investing in yourself, you're gonna be able to learn exactly what you need to do to get to where you want to go. And the last is dedicate, bro. Be dedicated, because it's a process. It's not gonna happen overnight. Instagram, with social media period, makes it seem like everything's overnight, and it's not. You have to stay dedicated to the process. And yeah, man, the build method, I feel like I know that's where I'm at. That's why I'm at where I'm at, bro, because of that.
Dude, that was cool.
Nah, bro, I
Appreciate it, man.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you gotta go, and I know you gotta get wrapped up. So
Yeah.
thank you, dude.
No, bro.
Thank you.
No, thank you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I hate to have this appointment.
No, you're good, man. You got life to do, bro.
Yeah.
That's just what. You're good. What time is it supposed to be at?
1:40. So I got.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're good. This is sweet. This is perfect, short and sweet. How you feel about this?
Bro, I honestly kind of worried. I'm like, did I provide the value that you were looking for?
Nah, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like it was good, bro.
Yeah, it was good.
I feel like
it was great.
I feel like it was great. I feel like the conversation was great. I think my thing is just making sure it was worth your time, right? Like, just making sure that.
Dude, I learned so much about you. I'm able to take this. I'm able to get your story out there, give people some inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't about me.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to sit down, know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
I wanted to tap into a little bit who you were, like what you're dealing with, all the struggles from business, relationship, how you knew about that, the challenges with your boy, like everything that's going on around you, and you still choose to get up and fight every day. Like, that's what I wanted to tap into. Like, I love that. Like, we covered everything. I feel like you got a little bit comfortable too.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
I mean, talk about my family. I'm always like, that's my everything.
You lit up a couple times where like your eyes looked a little, and I was gonna say something. I was like, man, you could see where, like, when I said certain things, like, dude, you lit up, and that's what I want people to understand, and that's what I want people to do. Dude, I don't know if you watch them, like the Pivot podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, I love a lot of their stuff because they're emotional.
Yeah.
They cry a little bit. They get a little upset with each other. They clown each other.
But it's real.
And it's real,
yeah.
dude. That's exactly what I was